What's up? What's up, true funk soldiers? How y'all doing out there today? Welcome, welcome, welcome again to another episode of Funk Music with Zack right here on IBM.TV. We got a really, really special guest today coming on. I'm going to bring him on in a second, but first I got to build up the hype a little bit. Those of you that always ask me questions about the theme for this show, it was done by a gentleman called Kyle Willis, and I'm going to have him on the show soon. So he was fortunate enough to write that and, was kind enough to give it to us. Today, I got the man, the myth, the legend, live out of Pensacola, Florida, one of my funk brothers from the way back, Unk to Amun. I'm going to bring him right on right now, and we're going to chop it up a little bit. This funky brother definitely was back there with the pharaohs and the secrets of the pyramids. So y'all hang out with us, man. What's up, to Amun? How you doing, brother?
Hey, how's it going? I say Netaru, everybody.
There you go, man.
Hey, thank you for having me on.
Hey, man, it's a blessing. I follow you so much.
Yeah, it's good to be here, though. Hey.
That's what's up, man. I follow you and all the good things that you're doing with your music. You got 3 projects that, you constantly been pushing out there, and we're going to talk about that. First of all, man, how are you and your family doing down there in Pensacola, man? And thank you for coming on a little bit earlier. I know there's an hour time difference, so thank you for that. We appreciate you. How are you and your family doing, man, with the whole thing with COVID? Hello?
We're doing pretty good, just staying safe, washing our hands, wearing our mask.
Yeah, and staying safe. Yeah, that's what we have to do. I know, and we're going to get into the whole music thing, but I always check on people's families first and make sure that you as a human being, because that's more important to me than anything else. Yeah. So I'm glad you're healthy. You're looking good. I love your crown. And tell people that don't know what that crown signifies and means, because we're going to start at the top like we always do and work our way down. So tell people about that a little bit, your background.
It's just the sign of a pharaoh, Usually, like back in the day, pharaohs had 2 different crowns, because back then, Kemet, I rather call it Kemet than Egypt.
Exactly.
Kemet was divided into two lands, upper Kemet and lower Kemet, and each city had their own king, but they had overall they had the high king, and if you ever look at the statues, they have these 2 little staffs. One signifies Upper Egypt, one signifies Lower Kemet, and the crowns. The different crowns represent Upper and Lower Egypt. But this is the one most, they see most people familiar with.
Hey, I'm loving it, man, because you know what? We all come from somewhere, and I do believe in a lot of different things. A lot of people think I'm crazy, but I'm not. I just know that there are all different types of elements, in the world, in the universe, and, I carry my crystals and I have stones in my apartment, and, I'm a big ufologist and I love Egypt. I showed you when we were just kicking it backstage a minute ago, my tattoos on my arm, because I study as much as I can, a lot of Egyptology. I truly believe, that they were way ahead of their time, geniuses, and man, I was so happy to finally get you on, man. It's cool, man. So tell me a little bit more about your crown. What do the colors signify? Black and gold, right?
Black and gold. Well, black, of course, is Kemet. That's what Kemet means. Kemet means black.
Okay.
And gold, the gold signifies eternity.
There you go. All right. I like that. See, I'm learning something already. This is the kind of information we get here.
Gold lasts forever.
Yes, that's right. And you know what? And it's been proven that a lot of the space-time travelers and stuff have always used gold in their, circuit boards and everything that we make now. They were doing that back then, and they use a lot of gold. It's a great conductor. Yeah, man.
Yeah, like if you ever looked at the mask of my ancient brother, King Tut, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that was the gold was electroplated. They're
Right.
still trying to figure out back then how they were able to electroplate gold on a mask with such detail.
Yeah, man. Yep. Yep. See, you know what people don't understand is that they had higher technology. They had light. You know, they showed the Baghdad battery. You ever see that? And I know you know about that. You know what I'm saying? They were able to utilize elements to get the things done they needed to get done.
Well, like I like to say, back then, all mankind was close to the gods. And as time went on, and men thought he didn't need the gods. So that's when they started distancing themselves.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I always like to let people know, well, hey, we were all one people, you know.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
We were all one people, you know. It goes back to a continent, two continents when the world was young. Atum Kim, better known to the world as Atlantis
Right.
and
Exactly.
Lemuria.
Right.
We
Yep.
were two continents, but a man in his lust for power angered the great god Ra. So Ra
Yeah.
sent it to the bottom of the sea. But he showed mercy on Lemuria and split it into the 7 continents we know now.
Right. 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 That's
Because
deep.
a lot of people don't realize Florida was once part of Africa.
Right. How when you first realized this early on, and I'm sure the visions and the different feelings came to you early on as a child. We all know when we're different as children, and when you first started developing that sixth sense that you carry so well, how did you feel about going forward with it? Because a lot of people tend to suppress what they're really about, and they shouldn't. How did you
When I
feel
was
about
younger, when I was younger, I used to be into mythology, and I read a lot on Egyptian mythology,
it? Mm-hmm.
uh, and like what's as far as this project, at first I was going to do like a world music fused with funk, but I think the
Mm-hmm.
ancestors called me, and the comedic influence came in there,
Right,
and
right,
and,
right,
and I just went with it.
right. I'm glad you did because we need individuality. You and I was talking this week about some stuff and, different artists, and we love them all, but we were mainly talking about being an individual when I had made a call to you, and we both agree on that. So tell me a little bit about as we get into this project. I'm going to bring it up in a minute, but when you were called and received your calling in this musical thing, right?
Right.
Were there people around you that supported you, like your family and your friends, or did people say like, "Nah, that's a little bit too out for me"?
Well, I like to call this an evolution of my artist being, because
Mm-hmm.
originally I go by the moniker Uncle Funk.
Right, right, right.
But when it was when I was doing this project, I was gonna entitle it Uncle Funk is the Last Pharaoh. But then I
Okay.
said, hold on, wait a minute. I want to give something that's kind of like gonna it's gonna just really blend in. So I was, and it's just this, and I wanted to keep the unk in it, and that's when I just said, okay, it just popped in my head, unk to a moon, because the
Right,
moon
right.
actually means God.
Yes. Yep. I know that, and we were talking, and we're going to get into this. And people will be, chatting in every now and then. So if you see me wave, I'm just letting people know, hey, I got you, I acknowledge you, and I appreciate it. Here we are hanging out with Uncle Amun, one of the OGs and the originals. And tell me a little bit about I know you're inspired. You play guitar, you play bass, you play keyboards. You have a production company that you're doing. But before we do that, tell me a little bit about, the brother that you really got into that pulled you into the guitar thing. Tell me a little bit about that because we were going to shout them out, but I'll have you do that.
Well, I give a shout out to my two main heroes, Ernie Isley of the Isley Brothers and George Lynch of Dokken. Those are to my, my two main heroes because what I like about Ernie, he just plays the guitar, and when he plays his leads, he still makes it funky. And then George, he just plays like his fingers just dipped in oil or something. And he just plays real slippery, and it's like, he makes it up as he goes along. I like players like that. Yeah. Sound like they just make it up as they go along. It sounds cool.
Yeah, it does. It's a gift, man. You guys that play guitar, I could never play guitar. I stopped at bass, but it's too many strings for me. Like, so I just went to drums. I was like, I can't mess with them strings too much.
I play a little bass, but I'm not Mr. Thumpity Thump Thump. Now, my brother, he's Mr. Thumpity Thump Thump.
Okay,
okay. And me, I'll pluck on it,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I play a little bass. But when I started, actually, my interest in music, I was learning the organ. Matter of fact, my organ teacher is a local legend around here, Mr. Al Martin.
Okay.
Who's still around. He's still killing it.
Yeah. Did you have any church influences? Because a lot of us that came up in church got into that music thing. I know my dad was a minister, so I got a lot of my stuff. But then I was always in the basement with my cousins listening to James Brown and Sly or Hendrix. So my dad knew early on I took that church influence and then flipped it to that whole rock thing. But I was just curious about your background.
Well, I'm pretty much self-taught. And I'm still learning. You're always a good musician will always be the eternal student.
That's right.
And like I was telling you the other day when we was talking on the phone, when I heard much as I love Jimmy and them, when I heard Eddie's solo on Michael Jackson's Beat It, I said, that's it. I gotta learn how to play the guitar. And then when Van Halen came out with Jump and he does his jump solo, I said, man, I gotta learn how to do that.
Yeah. Eddie, and we just lost him last week, man. He was a beast, man. He was a beast. Rest in peace, Eddie up there,
But the unique thing about Eddie was he took a guitar that he paid altogether $130 for.
Wow.
And set the world on fire.
Yeah, he did. Plus, he was a classical pianist. People don't know that about Eddie. So that tapping thing was a natural thing to him that he would do. And you know that as a guitar player, man, that's hard to do and make it make sense with the harmonics and the way he bends stuff and everything. He was a beautiful spirit on that guitar, It
was like the guitar was a part of him.
Yeah, it was, man. So let's get into some of your new material. Again, here we are hanging out with Unc Moon on Funk Music with Zack on IBM.TV. Thank you for all that's tuning in all around the world. We love you. Shout outs to everybody that's out there, man. You have a few different projects that we're going to explore a little bit now that we kind of, got a little bit about your background. New material sometimes takes a minute for it to actually hit the person that actually wrote it. So when you're writing your songs and you're producing them because you do your own production, do you ever think, well, maybe I got to go back and rework this, or maybe let me flip this to this album just to make it fit? What is your process a little bit when it comes to laying your stuff down?
Like one of my heroes, once again, Prince, I just make a bunch of music and, I see and I'll go through some of my tracks I already recorded and see what will go with the project I'm doing.
Right. Okay. Okay.
And like the main single off my current project, Pure and Uncut, the true light of funk. That
Mm-hmm.
that was you know, it went through changes.
Yeah.
It went through changes. It originally started as, I wanted to do my own version of Trinidad James, all gold, everything.
Right. Right. Right.
But then it changed throughout the process, and then the final product. I told you this the other day. I had my nephew Vince Bottom. Shout out to my nephew out there,
Here we go.
incredible musician in his own right.
Poop.
We was in here. I said, nephew, I'm gonna play this, and I think I'm off a couple of notes. He said, all right, let me hear it. And I play it for him. He's like, yeah, I can hear that. You want me to fix it? That's my fixer. I said, yeah, fix it. And then, he plays the electric piano and keyboard bass, and like I said, he's killing it.
Yeah.
And, I just do the vocals, drum programming, and laid the guitar that was already there, and the result is what you're gonna hear in a moment.
Yeah. Well, you know what? While we on this subject, let's go ahead and hear it. We're going to listen to 2 tracks from there. Then we'll come back and listen to 2 more. So turn us on to that, and then we can go from there, man. And believe me, loving your garb, bro. Loving your crown. Loving your crown, man. Loving it, man. I want to reach through and steal it. I want that crown, but it's not meant for me to have.
Yeah, this track, Pure and Uncut, I like to feel, and like, at the end of these songs, I do it. I added a little quote. I call it the little monk quote. All through the ages, the light has been hidden. Awake, O man, and be wise. That is from the Book of Thoth. That predates the Bible.
Yes, it does. A lot of things do. The Sumerian, Anunnaki, and everything else, even though I'm totally understanding of it all with the Bible. But there are a lot of things that were predating that as well. Yeah.
And here we go.
Let's roll with it, brother. Unto Amun. The Last Pharaoh is his new project.
Unto Amun, the last pharaoh. And I bring the light. The light. A funk. Bringing light. Out of the dark, we can see it all. Stand together, you can rise, not fall. The last pharaoh is here to say, I'm bringing the light like a brand new day. Bringing light, the true light. Bringing light, the true light. Free your mind and the spirit too. The funk is here and it's good for you. No more sorrow and no more pain. Washes away like it's in the rain. Bringing light, the true light. Bringing light, the true light.
out of this world is how you be. The power of funk is very real. You can feel it all through your soul. The funk dimension is where you go. The true life. Bringing alive the true light of God. Praise God to the angels. Brought to a moon the last pharaoh. I am keeper of the true funk energy, bringer of the true light of funk to the universe. Funk is how the universe stays in harmony. Wishing all funkiness, peace, and universal love throughout the cosmos. The final frontier is still now. All through the ages, the light has been hidden. Awake, oh man, and be wise.
Yo, that's a serious message, man. Run the next track, man. That's tight, man. Run that next track, man. That's tight. That's tight. Loving it.
Next track, this, like I like to say, you know, this, it has the elements, it has the funk, it also has love. It's about love.
There you go, man. I'm loving it. To Amun, the Last Pharaoh's, his new project. Y'all hanging out with us, man.
This is the love's slow dance, and it's part of what I call the love trilogy, because every king has to have a queen.
Yes.
And the queen in this story is Nefri Sue. You know, she wasn't born. The gods created her for him, and he's immediately in love. And this is like he's talking about, you know, how love is.
I like it. Let's roll with it.
Love is infinite as the universe, and as is your beauty, my queen Nefri. And on our journey, we will discover love together. Come, my love. Dance with me. You are eternity. I waited for you. Can't you see? You are ever me for you and you for me. You are more beautiful than the planets and constellations. He who sees all made you the perfect creation. I hold the heart of the universe in my arms, and you hold the heart of a pharaoh in your hand. The last pharaoh. Dance with me. You are heaven. Eternity. I waited for you. Can't you see? You are heaven. Me for you, and you for me. You are more beautiful than the planets and constellations. He who sees all made you the perfect creation. Praise God. As we dance and play among the stars, love makes the universe shine twice as bright. And we will spread that love
throughout the cosmos.
Dance with me. You are heaven. Eternity. I waited for you. Can't you see? You are heaven. Me for you. And you for me. You are more beautiful than the planets and constellations. He who sees all made you the perfect creation.
I discovered that love as well as superior energy holds the universe together. And living in love makes it eternal and everlasting. Like my feelings for you, my queen.
Dance with me. You are heaven. Eternity. I waited for
For whomsoever is led by his heart shall never lose his way, for this is the will of Amen Ra.
Yo, that's tight, man. Let's talk about those two cuts for a minute, and we're going to come back to a couple of more. But first of all, man, it sounds amazing. I love your work with the colors of all the music that you're doing and that you do. And that particular cut, as soon as it came on, I could actually be in the desert. You know what I mean? I could actually be walking through the sand. I could hear it. I could feel it. You know, that's why I just closed my eyes, and I had my eyes closed. I was just rocking to it, you know? So your concept and the thing that you do is amazing. And again, here we are with To Our Moon on IBM TV, Funk Music with Zack. And when you're creating your colors and you get the vision of how you want your music to sound, when you're laying it down, do you go drums first or do you do keyboards first? How do you actually build what it is that you create? I'm just curious.
Well, you know, building a song sometimes is like building a house. You got to have a foundation. Your drums is your foundation, and then you know, I lay down the melody to go along with it, and just take it from there.
Okay. Oh no, go ahead.
But what I like to call the Pharaoh funk magic, what makes it the Pharaoh funk is I throw the flute in there.
Yes, yes, that's what it was. I can hear it. Yes, it's very hypnotic. You know, it has that feel, and it definitely takes you to where you wanted it to go, because it took me instantly. As soon as I heard it, you know, I was like, okay, I see, you know, and you could feel, you know, because music is felt before it's actually heard.
Yeah,
you know? So,
you want people to see the music, envision it as well as hear it. And, you know, that's what I try to attempt. I like to say my funk is going to free your mind. It's going to enlighten your spirit. You know, that's creating the true light of funk with the pure funk energy.
Yeah. So on a side note, we was talking off air, and I want you to tell the fans a little bit about that Prince story you told me about him and Rick. Nothing on the negative, but just how, you know, what we were saying.
Oh, well,
I found that pretty cool.
You know, Rick got one up on Prince with the Mary Jane Girls. When Vanity 6 came out, you know, they looked good, but they really couldn't sing. Rick, he did one up on Prince.
Right.
And like Rick said in an interview in the old Right On magazine, you can't put looks on vinyl. And he got the Mary Jane Girls. They look good and they can sing. You know, Vanity 6 is kind of almost like a forgotten memory, and people and the Mary Jane Girls still doing their thing.
Yeah. Prince and Rick, they had their little riff, man, and I ain't going to get into all of that because I keep it real.
Excuse me for a moment, my friend.
Go for it.
Phone getting low. I'm gonna get the cord so I can plug it in.
Go for it, man. Go for it.
Excuse
You
me,
do you.
everyone.
You good, man. Here we are hanging out with Unktu Amun on IBM.TV. He's debuting his new music, which is on his new album, The Last Pharaoh. And you can find him at www.unkfunk.com. UNKFUNK.com. Go check out his new music. It's also got, two other projects that's on his website. The brothers down in Pensacola, Florida, he was nice enough to join us today. And we get into a little Egyptian history. We get into a little, things about what his music represents and how, it represents what he feels inside, which is what music is all about. If you got a birthday out there today, know that I love you. Happy birthday. Please wear your mask and stay safe and all that good stuff. And now my man, Mr. Unktu Amun, is back with us. So it's all good, brother. So, creating those colors and people don't understand sometimes. Less is more in the studio, and then you can just layer stuff. And it took me a minute to figure that out. Once I did, it was kind of cool. I had a lot of help. So is there anyone else with you that does your production, or you do everything yourself besides, your nephew that you mentioned?
Well, like I said, the only person I'll give control of this studio to is my nephew, Vince Puncho Bottom, because he's been close to the industry. He's produced, artists like the Sons of Funk, Urban Mystic, as well as a few of the local artists here in the area. I mean, the man knows the music business. When, like I said, when I need, for anybody hears anything, Puncho hears it first.
Right.
He's going to be very brutally honest, and I rather have that than he said, I'm not going to let you put no garbage out there, Unc.
There you go. That's what's up.
And, I'm like this. It's going to be garbage. You're going to lose your audience. You don't want to cheat your audience. You don't want to cheat your listener.
Right, exactly.
You set a standard for yourself and your music, and you have someone who's going to be brutally honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm my own worst critic. I don't like everything I do. I might record something one day, listen to it the next day, and say, did I do that? Let me fix it. Let me try to fix it.
Yeah. I agree with you, because there's like, I rarely like anything that I ever do. I just don't. And it's not because I lack confidence. It's because I always think I could do better. But then that's why I got, I give producers my credit, because I don't produce my own stuff. I just send them my ideas and my tracks, and then they do the production. Then we go in and sit down, put our heads together, and make it work like that. Because there's things that I hated that my producer Kevin's like, no, that's good, keep that. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, man, that'll work. And then when I hear the final project, I understand what he means. So we're going to get back to the next two tracks coming up in a minute. But tell me about your Layman guitars and your new launch Pharaoh guitars that are coming out.
Okay, well, let me pull one up here.
Yeah, man.
Let me pull one up here. This is a Pharaoh Custom.
Okay. So you build your own guitars.
Yeah, I don't cut the wood out, but I will order the parts and put the touches. I'm trying to make custom instruments without paying a high-end custom price.
Right.
And
well,
they look good, sound good. I got quality parts on them. And like I always like to tell people, if you ever pick up an electric guitar, and if you don't hear that a nice acoustic ring to it, and feel the guitar itself vibrate, it's garbage. It's crap.
Right. And that's a good lesson for a lot of the young people out there that actually do go shop. So for all y'all out there, if you want a custom made guitar by this man, he will make one for you. And I'm sure you will put, the specs in.
The only thing I don't do is like any lutherie work, any real lutherie work, I'll take it to the guitar shop and let them do their lutherie. But other than that, everything, I put it together. and I test them out. And
Right,
these
right.
two here, the ones that I got here, this is my number one Pharaoh.
Let me see it.
Okay, let me get it here. My number one Pharaoh. All right, here we go. This is my number one Pharaoh Gold.
Okay. And that's your baby.
Yeah, I mean, shoot. And
I see it. Yeah, man. I love that finish on there.
Right at the bottom.
Oh yeah, the eye. Oh wait, the eye.
I have to give a shout out to my graphics person,
Yes.
Butcher, because she did the. Let me see if I can get the logo.
Oh yeah. That's tight. Yes.
She did the logo. She also did my my last Pharaoh. She does what I call the Pharaoh art. She's really been instrumental in kind of bringing my last Pharaoh concepts to life. You know, she did the front and back covers of my CD. You know, and you know she's been real instrumental. I had to give her a shout out too. Shout out to your friend, my sister.
Okay, all right, there you go. So it's sometimes, you know, when we have a team of people and you have your concept and your team and your crew, you know, it makes for a better overall project because we all need somebody, man, along the way, man. And
like, you know, I don't do it by myself, you know. I know. I got like I call a team, you know. Ginger Lachlan, who my webmaster, maintains my website, you know. Steve Stipik, my computer tech, he built my recording computer. You know, he built it back in 2014. It's still running strong, never crashed, nothing. It runs. It's a tank. I get it's got a name, Funkzilla.
That's where all that Pharaoh funk comes from, Funkzilla.
Oh, yeah.
I love it, man. I love your concept, man. So the next two tracks that we're going to hear, tell us about the first one.
Okay. This one I'm going to play, it features the debut of an artist I'm going to be producing, Destiny Holly Brock. Shouts out to Destiny because she helped me finish this project up. And it's like Unc to a Moon. He meets his queen, you know, and she got on here. She's the voice of Queen Nefri Sue, and she kills it.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it, man. I'm loving it.
Who is this vision of infinite view that appears before my eyes?
I am Nefri Sue, your queen, my Pharaoh. Is Pharaoh not pleased?
Please cannot say enough. Falling in love is what I can say.
Your words touch me, my Pharaoh, but I have yet to understand the meaning of you. I was created for you, not for you.
Alone, I have ruled New Egypt in the space-time continuum. Alone have I watched the universe from evolve to Alpha and all worlds in between, and kept harmony with the true funk energy given to me by the gods themselves. But it's all in peril because of man's pettiness on the earth. Now I must make that journey.
You don't have to make that journey alone, my Pharaoh. Allow me to be at your side, to comfort you, to love only you.
The only answer to your words is yes, my queen. We will learn about love together as it should be. Come, my queen, dance with me. She was created for him from the stars of the constellation of Cyrus built and given a piece of the soul of Queen Nefertiti herself, given the wisdom and power of the goddess Isis, infinite beauty and wisdom personified. For this is the will of Amun-Ra.
That's it. It's a short little skit track.
All right.
But that's how, but it, that's the reason why it took me 2 years to do, because I was looking for somebody who could do the voice. And
Yeah.
Destiny came in and she killed it. And so now I'm going to be, hopefully, I'm written some music for her. Hopefully soon she'll come. I'll produce EP with her on it, and you can really hear her talent. She's definitely a diamond in the rough.
Well, I tell you what, man, when you get that all straightened out, man, you're both welcome to come on the show and we can play her music and all that good stuff, man. One of the people that's, into this whole spoken word thing is a friend of mine, Lady Rochelle, George Clinton's niece. She lives down here in North Carolina, right? Do you, down in that area, and your music has a lot of elements of the spoken word into it. I love it because it paints a really vision picture. How do you feel about that?
I mean, if I feel it needs that, that's what I go with. And if I need to just sing to it, I do that. Whatever is going to make the song stand out.
Right. Are you tied into the spoken word scene down in Florida?
Not really, but we do have a spoken word scene, and whatever the music needs. And I always say, any spoken word artists out there want me to do some music for them, hit me up.
Right. Yeah, because I love the fact that it's given me this really crystal clear visual. Your music is great, I love it. But yeah, man.
Say, the music, this project, I like to say, has spirituality, Egyptian mythology, sci-fi imagery. It's got elements of jazz, neo soul, rock, and I throw the funk in there.
Yeah. I like that, man. When you was working with this young lady and, you told her and she came in or whatever, obviously, she has a beautiful voice, man. And she does have that queen image voice type, that vibe. And obviously you guys work well together.
Man. That was one take. That was
really?
We didn't do that.
Wow.
That was first take. You hear the first take. She did it flawless. No mistakes. Me, I had to cut off, go back. Right. It was flawless.
Yeah. How do you, if you had some advice you were going to give to a lot of young people about this music game and how to be in it, artists that you worked with or have worked with, what would you tell them about how to just never give up and stay strong and continue to push through? What would you tell them? Because that's a very important subject for me, helping people push through all the time.
It's never late. It's never too late to dream. You're never too old to have a dream. I'm 57 years old, and I wanted to be an artist all my life.
Right.
I played music, and I always wanted to be a professional musician. But life comes in. But but it's taught me one thing. You could, that major industry is one thing, but to be your own artist, you learn to build your brand, learn the business part of it. If you want a legitimate label, get your business license. Have your songs copyrighted. Having your own legit business, your stuff is automatically copyrighted.
Yeah, and publishing.
And then just have, BMI, ASCAP. I'm an ASCAP member. Register your songs through there, because that way that's worldwide. And then anybody use your songs, you're entitled to royalties. Right.
Publishing is very important, man. So many people sleep on that. Yep.
That's it. See, take a tip from Michael Jackson. He owned half the industry's publishing rights. Sony owned the other half, but he owned the other half.
Right, that's deep.
So he was making money. They didn't call him the king of pop for nothing.
Right.
He had his hand in the pot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
And the good,
and the man that showed him, he got the rights to his music, Paul McCartney and the Beatles, you know.
yes. That's right. That's right. You know, it's funny because a lot of people think that's what happened to Mike because, you know, he had too much of the business, and you know how we'll get into that on another show. But
Yeah.
sometimes they don't want all that. You know, I'll just leave it at that.
The industry, that industry, they don't want any more icons. They don't want anybody that getting high like that.
Yep.
You know, I call it the lemonade concept. They want to pick the lemon, squeeze all the lemon juice out of it to make the lemonade, and when the lemonade's done, throw the peel away.
Yep. And that's a good way to look at it. We've lost so many artists.
I'm glad you know, better late than never. You know, I've been kind of doing this semi-professionally for about 10 years, and you know,
congratulations, man. Good for you.
And you know, I think I've accomplished a lot more than some people do in 20.
Yeah, man. You know, it's about you know, and getting back to your guy Prince, and he said, I never sold not one piece of music. People just buy it. He said he just put it out there, and it's up to them to buy it. Prince had a lot of profound things he said to try to encourage people. People just have to listen to his words and his music. He was constantly encouraging people and giving them a blueprint on how to succeed as an independent artist, you know. And when he came out with the disc Emancipation, you know, I listened to that thoroughly. He had Larry Graham on it and he had other people on it. But he was telling people, listen, I'm emancipated. I have my own stuff now. I own all my stuff. And that's what you're saying.
The MPG records, you know. But and that's what the understand. See, the industry, the people on top give you the money.
Yeah.
So me as an independent artist, everything comes out of my pocket. Everything is if I got the budget to do it, I do it.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. So let's get to this last track. We're listening, hanging out again with Uncle Amun. His new project, The Last Pharaoh, is off the hook. Y'all need to go check it out at www.uncfunk.com. So we're going to listen to this next track and check it out. We got about maybe 10, 15 more minutes to hang out with you. I got a hard out at about 1:05, but like I said, you're welcome to hang out on the round table after the show and kick it up with everybody. Yeah, man. It's cool, man.
To me, it's one of my favorites. It's called The Pharaoh Speaks. And it's like he's speaking out to the universe.
There you go.
He's awakened. He's getting ready. He hears the universe calling him. So he's going to but this song was originally on a video that my nephew shot up me called The Funk Monster Does Exist.
Right.
But I took it and I turned it to The Pharaoh Speaks because it got I do spoken word on here too. I am the prince of funkness. I am the last pharaoh of New Egypt. The final frontier is now.
dimension. Waits on you. Alphas and tyrants. We fuck as one. Know this and keep it real. To the moon. Hey. What you are? Funkiness. Peace. Universal love. I know you feel it.
Clear is the pathway to he who has wisdom. Open the door to the kingdom of light, for this is the will of Amun Ra.
Yeah.
Yo, man, I'm loving that, man. I'm loving that.
Technical difficulties, but
No, it was fine, man. It was fine, bro. Don't even sweat that, man. It was fine. I love the fact that you're doing your own thing and you have your own concept and your originality just shines through. And as I was listening to that, I wonder if you ever got into any Sun Ra.
I heard of him. I never really listened to him.
Well, before, if you get a chance, read his book before you get into his music. He's got a book out called Space is the Place. He got several, but that's the one I have, Space is the Place. And also, if you get a chance, there's a gentleman that plays with us sometimes, Andre LaSalle, but he plays with the Burnt Sugar Orchestra. But, you know, that element of what you do has so many elements from different artists that I hear that comes out of you, you know, because that's what you are. And I was just curious because I was like, well, wow, when I hear those synthesizers that you know, type outer space cosmic feeling that those synthesizers give, it kind of touches different chakras in our body. And I know that's where you're going and what you're doing. And I just want to tell you, man, your stuff is amazing, man. Here we are hanging out again, you know, with Moon, just chilling on Funk Music with Zack on IBM.TV. We're going to kick it with him for about another 5 minutes, man. And then, we're going to end the show, as we always do lately with Bootsy Collins' video Power of the One. And as you know, this Friday is Bootsy Collins' birthday. And I know we talked about this as well. He was like, yeah, Bootsy's the man, you know. Do you ever get a chance you're down in Florida where George and them are at to work with any of those artists off the mothership down there?
No, but I did. But I am close with one cat down here who actually sat in with George at one time. His name is Larry Lamont. We call him Pink. He's got a band that's called Knee Deep.
Okay. Yeah, I heard of Knee Deep. Yeah.
He's got a band called Knee Deep, and he told me a story that when George needed a bass player, he stepped in because I think he's from the DC area and George was playing that area, Pink stepped in, and George paid him $500 a song.
Yeah, man. It's funny because that whole funk thing, that we all are into, and obviously we all got into other stuff as well. But, it's amazing how it has just continued to grow. You're part of that. It just grows. We all come from it. It just grows,
Well, like I like to say, I don't believe in that outdated phrase, keeping the funk alive.
Right.
If you go by that, you killed the funk already. I'm like taking the funk to the next level.
Right. Yep.
We got to take to the funk never died.
Yep.
It just changes forms. You
Yeah.
have to take it to the next level. You never hear anyone say, "Oh yeah, let's keep the rock alive." You never hear that. So why are we saying keeping the funk alive? It never died.
Right. And you're right about that. And that's a good way to look at it. And I'm going to start using that myself because you're right. It never did die. We talked about so much, man, and we're going to definitely have a part 2 on this interview coming up, and we'll get to some of your other music in the next part, down the line. I'll touch base with you, and we'll figure out another date that you can get back on, man. And I would like you to bring, some of a person that you worked with or that young lady that did your spoken word on the show, man, and we can chop it up like that, too, because she's always welcome, Again, we've been hanging out today on funk music with Zack on IBM.TV with Uncle Amun, my brother from another mothership, hanging out with us. And he's going to stick around on the round table for you guys. Me, I have some things that I have to do, so I'm going to jet off. But, you're welcome to stay, brother. And we have a really good round table discussion from 1 to like 1:45, and everybody kind of just kicks it about what's going on and things of that nature. First of all, I'm extremely blessed to have you and travel with you on this journey. And anything I could do to help further your journey, by all means, you got my number. You hit me up. And again, hey, man, hey, for real. Yeah, man. Hey, that's what we do. That's what we do, man. Until we can get back out there, that's what we do. We help each other. That's what love is. And obviously,
like I go by the phrase, we funk is one,
That's right. One funk fam. That's right. I always say one funk fam, just like that. We connected. That's what it is. And, to wrap up, if you were in your newer music, where are you going to use any of the recent COVID political crap that we're dealing with to inspire you to write any new music? Are you going to do that? Because a lot of artists are doing that. I know I wrote several songs for COVID myself lately. So where's your new thing, inspiration going to come from, or you don't know yet?
It's all about bringing the true light of funk, helping open your mind and help see the unseen. And I see funk get kind of passed around like a cheap cliche. I'm getting my funk on. I'm not funking around. I mean, you never hear me say none of that garbage. I'm straight about the pure funk energy and bringing the true light of funk to the world, and just like this project, The Last Pharaoh, touches on what's going on because the negative energy is being created, which is endangering not only our world, but our universe.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't want the gods to come back in their vengeance. We want them to come back to save us and help us.
Yeah. And, there's signs all around that we just need to start paying more attention to as human beings. First of all, that circle of love,
The gods are already at war with these storms. They're just trying to fight this negativity and darkness in their own way. Sometimes
I lost your volume. Yeah, I lost your volume. Unmute. Yeah. Mark, did we lose his volume? He was getting ready to say something really, really cool.
Like I said, let me bounce off and everything. But yeah, I'm not sure what was going on with the volume. I could definitely see he was getting ready to drop some serious knowledge to us and all of that.
Good on us. Yeah, I got to get that. We got to get that. See if we can get him back on. We lost your volume, Unc. We lost your volume. He's got his mic on mute, which is cool. But yeah, he's getting ready to like really give us a good nugget, a good tidbit. But he's going to hang out for the round table too, you know.
Cool. So we're going to have him hang out for the round table and all that. Hopefully he'll come back and give us that nugget of wisdom that he was about ready to drop. I don't know what was going on with his technical difficulties and all of that, but I know one of the things that you love ending with and that Kim is a big fan of is that power of one. So we get ready to hit that power of one and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Boosie Collins, Power to One, his big birthday bash, October 23rd is going to be tight, y'all. Go to www.bootcave.com/tickets. Ticket prices vary from $10 to $35 to $60. You get a different package with each one. I'd like to thank the man behind the glass, my main brother from another mother, Mr. Mark Lee, chilling with us today on IBM.TV. Please stay tuned for this Serious Funk roundtable that they're going to be doing, and I'll be getting out of here. I got things to do, but I love y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out on Funk Music with Zack on IBM.TV. I'm your host, number 9.
You know, it's however you feel, but you just have to fit it between that space, that little space that you got, which is one. You know, one. You know, one. And then you would try to fit your different notes when you felt in between it, like, you know, and that's the funk. You know, you know, and you can change that. You know, and that's the funk. And you can change that.
True essence of the funk is the power of the one. It's the power of the one. You know this funk has just begun. You can lean on me. Let your mind be free. I shall not want that. But I need the funk, baby.
Okay, there you go. Y'all should be able to hear me.
We good.
You can hear me now?
We got you.
Yeah, like I was going to say. So, like I was going to say.
One minute. We're going to bring you back.
You know this funk has just begun. You can lean on me. Let your mind be free. Don't stop the funk on me now. You know the essence of the funk. The essence of the funk is the power of the one. Don't stop the funk on me now. The essence of of the funk is the power of the one. George Benson, they need convincing. And let the vibes flow through. It ain't too many things that the funk can do. Never underestimate the power of the one. Just jump up to your feet and the power of the one. You know this funk has just begun. You can lean on me. Let your mind we funkin' on a roll. The essence of the funk is the power of the one.
Girl, maybe in your mud feeling good like I know you should. Look at this, it's jug, all right. Keep the body poppin', funk it, don't stop. Gotta keep it going all night long. Have a blast, not to smash, but the roof down off this mother. Party up, y'all, to the bar, to the dollar, get it loose, this baby mama.
To feast us. You give me the power of the one. It's what I think. Power. You give me power, baby. And remember, the true essence of the funk is the power of the one, Bob.
All right, man. Come on back, man, and finish that thought, brother.
Hold on a second. We're going to bring him back in as well. Because hold on one second.
Yeah. Finish that thought for us, man. Thank you. Finish that thought for us, man.
Like I say, you know, there's a lot of negativity that's being created. And like I said, you know, these events like these storms, I'm seeing storms and tornadoes where tornadoes shouldn't be. You know, the gods, you know, they're trying to fight the forces of darkness the best way they can. You know, like I said, we wouldn't want them to come back and take their vengeance out on us. We want them to fight the great evil.
Yeah.
But
you're right about
great
that.
evil set. He has his disciples and minions, you know, that help with the negative energy.
Yeah. Here we are hanging out with to our moon. He was our special guest today on Funk Music with Zack right here on IBM.TV. I want to thank all the sponsors out there. I want to thank, and he's going to continue to hang out with us on the roundtable that's coming up. We got some people from around the world that's going to, you know, beam in. So, hey, what's up, Dollar Bill, my main Funky Washington, D.C. Funk brother, man. How you? Yeah, man, I'm high now. You know, I get lifted on the music. You know, I'm all right. I got you, bro.
I hear you.
Yeah, man. So we just chilling. And Kit, again, how you doing? I'm glad to see your smiling face. I missed you, so I'm gonna beat you like this. So don't take no more time off. No, I'm just kidding with you. I love you, man. I'm just messing with you. I haven't bothered you. I got nobody to call at 3:00 in the morning. I want you guys to meet a good friend of mine. From Utu Amun, Mr. Bill Poe, Pensacola, Florida. This is one of our producers, and Kit. This is one of other producers, Bill, Mark. You already know. And we just sit back and kick a round table sometimes. Guys, I got a hard out at about like 1:25. I have to go and do something with my girls. But, you know, I'm going to hang out with you for a minute, man, and, you know, just kick it here on Super Sunday on IBM.TV. Again, you know, Brian, it was a great show. Thank you, man, for coming on. And please feel free to come back on any one of my shows anytime and bring whoever you want to bring.
Yeah.
We also have
And before we hear from Ankit, and before Zach jumps out and everything, I think that Bill's got to introduce another guest that we've got as well, because I see that he brought somebody to the party. So I see that I've got Miss Wilson. So I need to learn more about Miss Wilson before I bring her on. So definitely, Bill, get ready to bring her on. But if you will give an introduction to Miss Wilson so we can know who she is and what she's all about.
Oh, absolutely, I would. But I mean, I would not necessarily presume to speak for her, but I can give you some general things. I think we ought to bring her up, and then I will, introduce her. Her name is Shereen Wilson. She hails from the Netherlands, and runs a show. I'm sorry, hey, hang on, I got you. But she has her own show and her own program that is dedicated to empowering women across the globe. And with that, I want to hand it over to our guest. Young lady, you have the floor, please.
Hi, gentlemen. I'm so privileged to be here with you guys. Oh, my gosh. Like, only men. I love that.
So do we. We love the fact that you're here. We got somebody pretty to look at.
Come on. Zach, come on, man.
Well, I mean, Bill, you pretty, Bill. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, we got something different to look at and everything.
Right, because Bill, you are the star.
Yes, but if we can get serious and everything, Miss Wilson, if you could tell us a little bit about what Bill was talking about and about what you're doing to empower women from around the globe, because it sounds like you're doing a lot to empower women, and I'd love to hear more about what you've got going on and these programs that you're doing. Maybe you're doing some stuff in radio, you're doing some stuff around the world. I actually have a friend that used to live in the Netherlands and is now back here in this area, but she lived there briefly. She met a gentleman from the Netherlands and moved there. And then last time I checked, she had moved back to this area. But I'd love to hear your story.
Oh, I would agree with her. I would like to move from here too, but that's something personal. So please call me Sharon. Please don't call me Miss Wilson. You make me feel
the Van Halens were from Netherlands.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
What were you saying, Brian?
Brian's frozen. So,
the Van Halens were from the Netherlands.
Van Halen.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I hear you like a couple of seconds later. Okay. So if I just talk through you, please forgive me. It's not because I'm being rude. It's because I hear you later.
Okay. So what's your story, young lady? Tell us.
So basically what I do, gentlemen, is that I started this live video podcast with the purpose of empowering women. So I interview women across the world. I've interviewed women in Nigeria. I've interviewed women in India, in the UK, in the Netherlands, in the Caribbean. And I just want to keep going on this international path that I am. And what I basically do is talk about different topics when it comes to women empowerment. Specifically this month, which is why I'm dressed in purple. I have purple nails, purple lips, purple shirt or blouse, is because October is the month of domestic violence awareness. In case you haven't known Annette, now you know. And I have been speaking to amazing, powerful survivors of domestic violence that talk about the work they do in different parts of the world. So today I had an interview with a very amazing woman in India who in Bangalore is having this foundation that she educates women, but also families, and teaches women how to be entrepreneurs so they can own their own money and, have that financial freedom so they don't have to depend on their husbands in order to live in a domestic violence situation. So, I mean, it's so incredibly amazing, the women that I meet, the work they do, and I'm just ready to keep going and do more and more. I'm like super, super excited to continue on this path. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
See that? Listen, it's called empowerment, bringing a woman of substance from the Netherlands to power. Take that, fellas. What do you guys got?
Hey, I'm all for, I got 2 daughters, so, I'm all for the empowerment of women. Sherry and I have a daughter that's 12, soon to be 13, and one that's 16, soon to be 17. So I'm all about that. Their mother's a strong woman. I constantly uplift, women's rights and things of that women are involved in. And I'm just so grateful that, Bill was able to get you on the show and you're here with us now. So welcome. And anything I can do to help you, it's all good.
Actually, she has a very good story. You were born where and how did you get to where you are?
The giver of life.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the question, Bill?
Well, actually, I think Brian said that women were the givers of life. Did I get that right?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Yes, we are. We are powerful. We give birth to a human being. We produce life. And I think a lot of women are not aware how powerful they are.
You have to appreciate the life.
Yes, we do. And that's the goal that I have with this live podcast. I want to bring women aware. I want to waken them up. I think a lot of women are asleep. They have no idea how powerful your voice and your presence can be. And I know what it's like when you don't feel confident, when you don't feel, oh, you know, I'm just a simple woman. I'm just ordinary. I won't do anything. It starts with one person. It starts with being courageous enough to put yourself out there, present yourself, and do the work. It starts with one simple person. And once you grow and you learn to love yourself and be confident enough, oh my gosh, the things you do, so powerful. And that's what I encourage all women to do. No matter where you're from, what your background is, what you have been through, you have power to do anything you want to do, so long you put your mind to it.
Ankit, you had a question.
So, hi, Sharon. This is Ankit. I'm from India, and we work on IBM TV with Bill and other people. These all are our family on IBM TV. I have a quick question for you because you said that women empowerment and you are doing a lot of podcasting and interview with women. And we also celebrate a lot of Women's Day in terms of Women's Day or maybe Daughter's Day, International Women's Day. I mean, there are different days what we celebrate. But if I ask you a basic question that how should we celebrate women, what would be your answer?
I would say, I mean, your question comes from a man perspective. Is that correct?
No,
Yes.
generally, but
in general?
I mean, in general as well as, I mean, from the perspective of a different
Okay.
point of view.
So in general, I would say we need to acknowledge that women are powerful. That's the first start. I think it's still, unfortunately, 2020 is still a world where men are predominantly doing everything in the economy, everything in politics, everything in the corporate industry. And it's time that we start to acknowledge that there are a lot of women that are powerful, that are intelligent, that are competent, that are accomplished, that are experienced, and that can add so much value to the world. And when we start with that, by providing more opportunities for women, that's a great way to start. So start really empowering them by allowing them to speak, allowing them to be themselves, allowing them to show up, and encouraging them and respecting them and valuing them instead of, you know, just trashing them or throwing them down. And I think it also starts with us women by saying, you know what, I'm going to stop making wrong choices. I'm going to stop being with douchebags. I'm going to stop making terrible choices that affect me and my family. I'm going to own the crown that I deserve. I'm going to wear it with pride, and I'm going to do what I do best. So it's both the women and, you know, the men as well.
Yeah, that's a great advice that you gave to everybody and everything, because I agree that that's something that we have to do on a regular basis. And actually, Bill just said something very powerful and everything. He was acknowledging some of the folks that he's known in his life and everything. And I know that that's also what Zack has done. And that's something that I've done on this show as well, because I always talk about my mother, who was actually a very active in the nonprofit world and was a leader of a major nonprofit here in North Carolina, and definitely one of the loves of my life and everything. And definitely I'm not afraid to say that about my mom and my aunts, because I'm actually very much close to my aunts as well, who were involved in a number of things, including one who passed away several years back. There was a major educator between Virginia and New Jersey. So I think that we have to acknowledge those women that are in our lives and things of that nature. But one of the things that I would also add to that is that we also have to encourage the young women. I know that my younger brother is involved with a young lady who definitely I have a great deal of respect for, Celia Ponder and everything. But her daughter is actually going to college right now. She's over at East Carolina in her freshman year and everything, but she was always one that was encouraged to be have that very powerful role at a very young age. And even now, she's got some very serious ambition. So I think that that's one of the things that we need to do more of, is encourage our young folks to actually step into their light, step into their power and things of that nature. So would you agree with that? Definitely, Sherry Ann?
Absolutely, 100%. You know, one of the key core of women empowerment is education. So, you know, women empowerment has a lot of aspects. One of them is education. The other one is having the financial independence, because I think a lot of women in different countries depend on their husbands, depend on their families, because they're financially not able to support themselves. And the third one is that we need to teach women to be more confident. Because I think women grow up with the perspective that, oh, they're not good enough, or, oh, the men are better in this, or, oh, well, I'm not sure if I'm able to do this because, and before me, this person's, didn't succeed, or whatever bad example they have seen. So, there's a lot of valve around that, but the core is definitely education. Did you know that statistics show that women who go, young girls who go to school actually have better opportunities, better pay, and in some countries, even the risk of getting pregnant and getting married at a young age is way lower. So education is so powerful.
Yep, definitely agree that education is very powerful, and we need to have.
As a musician.
Yes, Brian.
Yeah, speaking as a musician, I don't like the way women are portrayed on the, on popular music, as far as like degrading them and everything. I make it a point. There's no obscenities, no degrading of women on my music. It has no place, and it never will. I'm from the old school. You give women a little respect because you respect your mother. She is a woman.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that so much. I appreciate that. And that's something I definitely always highlight. Go ahead, Bill. You want to say something?
Yeah, listen, I appreciate this kumbaya and stuff, but, I want to hear about what's coming up this week. What do we got going on? What are we doing? And what are we thinking about, if you don't mind me? Because,
Go ahead.
The whole world is watching. So, Sherry, what do you have on tap for your next week's show? What are you doing this week? What's going to help us out?
So today I had this amazing interview, like I said, with Fiona Martin from Bangalore in India. And we talked about the foundation that she has and how she helps women in her community who are going through a terrible situation of domestic violence, so that they find their place of empowerment, and by really helping them, educating them. So they take courses. Some of them even learn how to be entrepreneurs. So they start their own business. And, she is a domestic violence survivor herself. And the work that she does is so passionate that, she definitely has inspired a lot of listeners, including myself, to say, okay, what are some of the things that I have to do by my own life? What are some of the things that I can do in my community to help empower other women? So yeah, it's been amazing. And next week, Sunday, I have another amazing power woman lined up to interview live again on Facebook, because that's where I do the interviews on my Facebook page. You can find me if you search me on Facebook, Sharon Wilson. It's a public profile, it's super open. Please don't send me creepy friend requests, because I don't respond to that. Just, watch the show. And next we're going to talk about the holistic part of being empowered. So the financially empowerment, the mental empowerment, emotionally empowered, because, as women, and I don't want to say it as a stereotype, but as women, we are built on emotions. We are very expressive. We feel everything. We express everything. And having that emotional empowerment and being emotionally healthy is super important in order to be confident, in order to love yourself, in order to create things around you. So that's pretty much it, Bill.
Okay.
Well, that sounds great, and I want to add something to that and everything that you may be interested in. But Zack, who you just met recently, and he had to bounce off to visit with his daughters, and we definitely appreciate him going to spend that time with his daughters. But yesterday on his show, Funk from the Front Seat, he actually had a guest, Nafetali Santiago, who is actually working with battered women in the area of California. So he's actually doing some work similar to what you're doing in the California area. We're hoping to have him back on to talk more about that aspect, because they were focusing more on the music aspect on this particular show yesterday. But he did mention that that is a passion project of his and things along that line. So definitely this platform, IBM.TV, is always making that a very important issue and everything. And I do want to bring up another guest of ours as well, who does a great show here, that being Wynn Charles. And Wynn Charles does a lot of work dealing with women empowerment and things of that nature. She's got Win with Win, which will air on tomorrow morning and everything. And she definitely oftentimes is talking about empowering women, but also empowering women that are both in the sphere of being women, but also in the sphere of being disabled, because she is definitely involved in that community as well. So definitely she does some great work with us here. So definitely want to say hello to Wynn Charles and welcome her to the conversation, and to meet her new friend, Sherry Ann, because like I said, I'm sure hearing them both that they will have a lot in common and a lot to talk about.
I think we will. I think we will. I sat behind the scenes a little bit, you guys, and heard what you were doing, Cheyenne, and I think you and I are going to become fast friends. And as Ankat mentioned yesterday, I'm going to try and disseminate all the information that I can as a journalist, because about COVID, because I just found out that as of, when was it, Thursday morning, that the place where I am currently living, our numbers went up. And so, and of course, the county's not reporting it as usual. My county never, they forget to report, even though it's important. So I'm going to try and disseminate all the information I can get from across country, especially here in Colorado, and see how that works, because we as journalists, we as IMBTV family need to help those who are stuck with COVID, because so much misinformation is going on right now, and then so much misinformation is going on right now, and then I don't think the counties are doing a great job at disseminating the information. So I think the journalists in those counties and worldwide need to start disseminating those information.
Yep.
All right.
Definitely agree with you. I just noticed that the balance has gotten a little bit better. It's actually like 3 men and 3 women, so we've got the balance a little bit better. I appreciate that as well. So we've got a more balanced platform going on and everything of that nature. One thing that I was curious to hear from everybody as we're talking about different issues and everything is I just recently heard from a friend of mine that does one of these kind of shows as well about how somebody in Congress had tried to intentionally mangle Kamala's name and everything. So I was wondering if y'all had heard about that and what y'all's reflection were, because I'm sure that a lot of times people do that as a way to degrade women and as a way to degrade folks of different ethnicities. So I'd love to hear, and I'll start off with Sherry Ann, if she's got any thoughts on this congressperson from the, I forget which state, Bill, you'll have to clarify to me which state it was, but I know that there was a lot of conversation around that.
It was Georgia.
Well, honestly, I'll be very honest. I don't follow all the politics in the U.S. because I don't live there. I do get like the highlights, the most important things. One thing I do know is that unfortunately, the U.S. has a huge pandemic when it comes to racism. And I mean, I can go very deep in that topic. I am mixed myself. I know all about it, both worlds, being colored, being non-colored. So I'm not going to go in details, but I do know that there's a lot of restoration to be done. And I would love to contribute to that as well to bring those changes.
Okay, Kimberly.
Yep.
How are you? And listen, thank you, because I was feeling outnumbered here, Kim.
Well, I always defer all of those kind of questions to Bill or Nick because they are the legal people. And there are some things that we hear in other news outlets that we have to be very careful of. So, whatever's going on out there, what I like to do first is go check the bills out for myself, check the meetings that they had, make sure that, things are there because so many things get distorted. But I wanted to address some things that you guys were talking about, such as the domestic violence, issues about women, empowering women. One important thing to take note is October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Mm-hmm. It is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And these are times that we should be addressing these issues all the time. Some things that a lot of people don't know is that domestic violent crimes just in the U.S. alone cost us about $6 billion a year. Yet we would rather continue to allow it happen than put in place some of the most cost-effective measures to prevent it. One of the things that has disturbed me very much this year is we have a bill in place to help protect victims of domestic violence. A precedence got set this year with domestic violence, and this happens all the time. And you have to go back and kind of adjust the bill when that precedence gets set. Well, the precedence that got set was offenders of domestic violence can now carry a gun. Previously, that wasn't allowed, but somebody got past a loophole. So Biden was trying to get that law kind of changed a little bit so that this doesn't happen. And Trump refused to sign that portion of the bill. So that has disturbed me very much. And it's also disturbed me that the Senate won't take a look at this to make those adjustments for protecting people, right? So these are problems I currently have with our administration right now, is that they're all about this political hoopla rather than human rights, rather than protecting humans and making our lives safer and a better place to live. They would rather sit there and push a judge into office in a gunshot wedding rather than just take care of other problems that we have, rather than making sure that we have our COVID policies in place to protect us, or maybe our next stimulus package. It was more important for them to push a judge into office. I have issues with that, because when you have an administration in office that's what they look at instead of humanity issues, then we're never going to get ahead. That this won't change even next year, no matter who's in office. So these are the things as people we need to step up to the plate and we need to fix. And this is something I keep stressing with our team. And I hate that Zack left before I could come on. But we have to fix policies, and not just in the U.S. These policies need to take place everywhere, because a lot of people don't know the stats. In the U.S. are 12 million female victims, about 24 million children victims, and 6 million males. These stats are the same in almost every country. And we currently, the last time I looked at the reports, which has been a while, 10 million fatalities. 10,000 fatalities in 1 year. That's a lot of fatalities. That's more than what we had in war in 10 years. Mm-hmm. So there is something wrong with our mindsets in this country if we're not putting humanity rights first.
Yeah.
Because once we fix humanity rights and our health, if we make sure that we have a means to better health care, the rest of it takes care of itself. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The economy will fix itself if we're healthy and we're not scared to walk on the streets at night or looking over our shoulders, wondering if somebody's going to kill us. Or, seriously, the economy will fix itself.
Yeah, and women uplift villages, as the studies have continuously shown. You educate a girl in a village, and the whole village prospers, Kimberly, as you know.
Yeah, I mean, well, because women are more nurturing. It's by nature, but it doesn't say men aren't either, right? Mm-hmm. We all carry some double DNA after millions of years, but in all aspects, by nature, we are a more caring part of the species. But if you look at other countries where women are leaders, they are climbing out of the COVID crisis successfully. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And I know that you bring this up a lot too, that we're not only climbing out of the COVID crisis, but we're also climbing out of other crises that were hitting us. So, women, we're given a challenge on a day-to-day basis when we take care of a home. We not only take care of the home for making sure the kids aren't sick and the husband's well enough to go to work, but we work on a budget. right? We have everything based on a budget. Can I stretch this food out to feed 5 kids this week? Am I going to have enough money? And women do this every day. And men generally, they're taught other things. They're taught.
Like I say, we're useless, Kim, right?
No.
No,
I mean,
it's nothing like that. But and you need to.
we're taught the gladiator way of doing things, right? Yeah, right.
It's a balance thing, but I think that
with me, without me.
just real quick, Kim, I think that Wynn had something that she wanted to say, but before I get to that, I did have a question for Sherry Ann as well, because oftentimes I've got a good friend of mine that's in California, originally from Pakistan, Mona Shakes, and she does some things on social media and things of that nature. But she oftentimes does talk about what Kim alluded to, how a lot of these women issues and women rights issues are around the world. They aren't just a United States issue. They are actually issues that happen in a number of the countries around the world. So I would love to hear your perspective about that, because I know she, as a Pakistani woman who does a lot of activism work in that field, as does Sarah Fatimah, who I believe is also from one of the Middle Eastern countries, oftentimes brings that up. But I'm not just picking on the Middle East, because I also know it exists in Europe, it exists in Asia, it exists in Australia, and a number of places. So I would love to hear your perspective about how this is a global issue and not just an issue here in the United States. And then I want to get to Wynn as well.
Sure. So I think in Europe, it depends where you are in Europe. I think here in Netherlands, women are very much equal to men. And I think in the UK, it's pretty much the same. And you see women rising up in top positions and being, executives. But still, underneath that, between the lines, there is still sexism. And unfortunately, it's not addressed to as it should. I believe worldwide, we as women have evolved. We have emancipated. We have been educated. We have freedom. We have rights. We vote, etc., etc. Somehow the society and the stigmas have not evolved. Somehow society and stigmas have remained old-fashioned, where, back in the day, women would be at home taking care of the family, wouldn't get an education, wouldn't have a job. The man will provide. It would be dependent on the man. And I'm wondering, what will it take? Because I love that Kimberly mentioned that, the economy will take care of itself. But I do think that we need to, as human beings, add some of that to make it a better place for women in particular, which is, I believe, keep using your voice every day, no matter where you are, with who you're talking. Talk about certain topics. Talk about domestic violence. Talk about, how women are sexually harassed at work. Even though you are an executive, even though you have a great position as a manager, you can be sexually harassed. And it needs to be talked about. It needs to be outspoken, and it needs to be addressed. It needs to get into the government. It needs to get worldwide into the governments, where we address this issue when it comes to women not being equal to men in payment, in status, and having the same equal opportunities in every work field that you're working. I hope that will really add value to how women are seen in society, and how the society and the stigmas need to evolve. They need to become to where we are as women, because we have evolved. We have evolved 100%. It's just the society hasn't.
That's right.
Definitely. Wynn, I think you had some things that you wanted to add to the conversation as well. So
I do.
I
do. I was going to say that I agree with Kimberly. I agree with Charlotte. And I apologize, Charlotte, if I got your name screwed up. But
That's okay. That's fine.
I agree with everyone that we've got to start using our voices, and we've got to start doing the taboo subjects as women on IMTV, on all our social media platforms, all our content creation, not only on IMTV, but on our podcast as well, because the taboo subjects need to be talked about. And if we're going to be squished like bugs and not do it, who else is going to do it, mind you? Who else is going to sit here on a Sunday morning and speak about women's disabilities and women's empowerment as a gay woman, Hinton, And so, who else is going to be here on a Sunday morning, my time, but who else is going to be here doing what we do unless we are not in the right frame of mind? I mean, it's all about freedom of speech, but yet let's not stay away from the taboo subjects.
Well, and you definitely bring up a good point, because it is a taboo subject, right? It is, and it's not just domestic violence. We also have human trafficking, which is a problem. And most people think human trafficking is more about women. And actually, a lot of people don't know this, but the highest trafficked human is young Black men from the ages of 14 to 21. And a lot of people didn't know that, but they are the most, the highest trafficked humans in our country. And then, of course, young girls for sex trade. So, I mean, there are a lot of things that we as a humanity worldwide need to step up to the plate. I was just reading an article, and don't take offense to this, but in India, it was just what they can count. This isn't what they're unable to count, but it was over 4,600 young girls stolen to be put into brothels. And so we can do something about this. We just need to change our priorities. And I think that education helps us do that. But again, like Sherry Ann has said, our voices, we can't stop letting our voices be heard. And that is something that is very important, because all too often we get up going and then we stop. And one of my biggest problems in fighting domestic violence in this country, because I have an invention that I'm trying to get law enforcement to do, but one of the things is like, oh, the hoopla would be there after a fatality, right? You'd have all of this story. We need to do something. We need to change the laws. And then 3 weeks later, some celebrity gets his nose broken or something like that. And it takes away from it. So our priorities get skewed and displaced and interrupted by the next day news. And we need to stop that. We need to find, and truly Biden is the only one who has stayed on this mission to protect women and children with a bill that he wrote in 1990, and he never stops improving that bill, because bills sometimes have to keep being improved, but he has never stopped caring, and he has continued on that mission, making sure every president signs it. Every time a president comes into office, he makes sure every president will fund it, make sure that it gets what it needs to protect us. So, yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Wynn.
I was just going to say, Brother Bro and I and, what's her name? Lloyd did full on how you get overcome using a positive mindset, did a full on hour on emotional and physical abuse and sexual abuse, because Lloyd regularly was sexually abused, and Blow brought someone in from Africa too. And we were talking about how African standards were different than the US standards. African standards don't have it as they tell someone that they got emotionally and physically and even sexually abused. African standards, like Dwight, they don't even have a kit. They don't even have a kit for sexual abuse. They, in their local hospital, one of Buzzable's friends and guest from Africa was saying, and Lori was from Canada, and Lori and I were saying that yes, we have kids, yes, if you go to the hospital and say I've been sexually abused, I'm able to get a kit to start the evidence. But this woman, Joyce, in Africa, was saying that no, we don't have that, and no, we don't want that, nor should we get that. I mean, she looked at um, she looked at myself and Lloyd like we're nuts when we said, well, both in Canada and the U.S. we have kids. And Bill, you want to speak?
Oh, thank you, Lynn, for the handoff. Look at you, catching me off guard. Ouch! See, that's professional there. I guess I wanted to just it reminded me of something that you and I talked about earlier when we were talking about your journalism career, and that was this idea that said that you're not looking for as a journalist to be looked at in the newsroom as somebody to be pitied. Rather, you're looking for a story to be respected as a journalist. And in that same vein, you recall that, don't you, Wynn?
Yes.
I know.
Yes, I do.
I know.
I do.
See, and you think you caught me off guard. Not quite. But the other thing is, though, it occurred to me that in that same vein, as we talk about not just domestic violence awareness and the empowerment of women, that it's a broader issue as well, because it involves self-help, wellness, emotional being, balance of life, and then work. I mean, the very important thing of, and I think, Sharon, I know I'm going to butcher this, but what is it? I know they call them like sheroes, and then she entrepreneurs. Well, am I mispronouncing that?
Sheroes, you're correct. Yes, like female CEOs.
Oh, see. Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to leave it to you to explain it because I'm still fumbling. Because I'm long in the tooth and gray in the hair, and don't mind me. But then it's also the importance of women entrepreneurs, and I think your program covers that as well. Am I right about that, or do I have that wrong?
So you're not wrong entirely. Partially, I do focus indeed on talking about women starting their businesses because women empowerment also, like I said, is very broad. It has different aspects. And one of the things that I love to focus on to empower women is that you can start your own business. Mm-hmm. Every woman is powerful enough. The fact that you can give life is already powerful enough. So every woman can start their business. It can be small, it can be large, it can be handcrafting, it can be cooking, it can be anything you like. You can be a badass entrepreneur and be the boss and CEO of a huge corporate company, but you can also be your own entrepreneur, your own home, where, for instance, you bake or you cook or whatever it is that you do. So yes, female entrepreneurship is booming now. And I think it has to do with a couple of reasons. One of them is that I see that women really are really good in being entrepreneurs, but they're not getting the chance in their work environment. They're not encouraged to take more initiative. They're not encouraged to have bigger roles and more responsibilities. So at a certain point they say, hey, if I can't grow here, I should start my own business. And that is very empowering because I believe you should be in control and you always have a choice, right? And if this is the right choice for you, you should do it because you're in control of all your choices. Does that answer your question a little bit, Bill?
Yeah, I was just stuck on the part that I was partially wrong and stupid. So I'm okay. I'm still stuck.
Wait a minute. You mean you're admitting that you were wrong, Bill, on something? That's just amazing that you're admitting that you were wrong on something. And but I admit some of that as well. Sherry Ann, one of the things that I was just looking up and everything that I find very fascinating, and this was statistics from last year, and I know that you're right that a lot of women, particularly in this COVID age, are becoming entrepreneurs. I actually had the privilege of having Sophia Bazille on one of our past shows and everything, and she was talking about that nature of everything because she's actually living in Baja, and she is a life coach and definitely involved in that field of being an entrepreneur. But one of the things I noticed is that last year in 2019, I think it was less than 7% of the top 500 Fortune 500 CEOs were women, and that was actually up. So they saw that as a victory because I think it was like closer to 4.8% the year before that. So they were seeing that was a victory. But it seems to me that in a society that is 50-50, that we should have a lot more women that are CEOs. So I would love to hear your reflections on that because when I saw that statistic, and that's not the first time I'm seeing that statistic, that just shocks me. And I know that Kimberly is very much involved in the entrepreneurship world, and she probably also would think that number needs to be much higher. But I would love to hear your thoughts and reflections on that.
Okay, in one sentence, women should rule the world.
Yep.
I love that. I think it was it Kimberly that you talk about women leaders and one of them handling the COVID pandemic much better. You can definitely say that we need more women in politics. We need more women in the government, and we need them to be great leaders because the world will be a much, much better place. So that's in a nutshell.
Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Salute. What I'm going to say is it's shocking to me because I've been doing this for 40 years, and I've attended a global conference not too long ago where I thought there would be other women there, and I was still the only female. It's a joke story, I say. I can't really summarize this in one sentence. What I can say is when President Obama was in office, he put in a goal that they had to start engaging and doing at least 20% contracts with women. That goal was never met. I don't even think 2% was ever even met. So I'm slightly disappointed. I'm confused as to why it doesn't happen, except that when I went and looked at the bidding system, I saw how they converted things and made it so women couldn't. Like they changed the rules and policies and said, well, you can only bid for this job if you'd had experience in this contract for 20 years. Well, no woman has had that, right? So,
ridiculous.
I mean, yeah. So, and I sent that to Obama. I said, well, okay, your policy put in place to increase by 20% is good, but there's an obstacle. How do we get around this? So, one of the things he did was he opened up more classes for bidding and things like that. And so, I was impressed with Obama's attempt to help encourage hiring more women and putting them more at the top. I think it's going to take more work. Like, you said, I think we were set back by 4 years with policies and a leader who has no respect for women. I'm just being blunt, but I'm being very honest. When I look at the policies, and again, I don't look at the newspaper. I do occasionally, but I'll look at the story, then I'll go read what really happened in the government offices, what really happened with the policies. So we need to do that. And I'm going to pass the ball to Wynn. I think Ankit needs to speak because I think he's being too quiet. And I came on to say hi to my family. So
yeah.
And I was just learning and just trying to understand the woman power, because in India also we believe in women, and we in fact respect women. For us, we treat our Mother Earth as mother. I mean, we call her Earth as mother. That's what we do. I mean, and we pay, and we are very religious in India, and we have a lot of different religions. But our topmost goddess are all women. In fact, right now we have 9 days of, or maybe 10 days of religious day, and these are very pure, precious day for us. And all 10 days belongs to a different goddess, and that's going on right now. But because of the COVID, there are a lot of things and restrictions are there. Otherwise, we have a lot of. I mean, it's kind of a gala carnival in India where we have a lot of things going on. And then after 21 days of these days, we have our famous festival called Diwali, which lights the candle and all those. So we do a lot of stuff with that. But I'm just curious. I was just trying to understand that about human trafficking and stuff like that, because whenever everyone knows that there is something going around, and there are a lot of women and all those people involved. But people who are doing this kind of work or doing this kind of structure, they are also from the same society, and we just don't know who are they. And also they might be men and women. So I'm just curious to understand their mindset, because I don't understand why they're doing it, what brings to them, and also they also have daughters and son at their home. So I'm just curious to know what's happening, because it should not be happen. I mean, they also have their daughters and son, and they also have a family. So it's difficult to understand. But for me, women around the world, as Sherin said, we have to respect and we have to make sure how we can give more power to women. In fact, Sherin, if I'll give you a small stats about the COVID, almost 70% of the men suffered from COVID as compared to women. And also where women are in the power, like New Zealand, like Germany, like Bangladesh, like other countries, so they are doing much better as compared to other countries because the power with the women. It's just a sad, but I think it's. I mean, it takes a lot of guts, and also I think women have more immunity as compared to men. But I don't know. I mean, I think Bill have to say something.
Yeah, I think more men suffer from COVID because we're dumber.
Yeah, let's do that a couple of times now. I think that this is like a theme that Bill is having here, but we are not dumb enough to not address another thing that is very important that is going on, which is the tremendous great shows that we are having here on IBM.TV and everything of that nature. So I'm going to actually talk about that. I want Wynn to talk about her show and everything, but keeping in that same theme and everything, I am going to say that on the radio show with Mark Lee, which is the one that I do on Monday, I do have a woman that will be joining us, Jess Aberhart, who is a power broker leader in our community. She's actually done a lot of work around here, has actually been involved with some of the Google work that I know Kimberly has also been involved and things of that nature. So she will be a guest on the show tomorrow, as will, and Bill will be glad to know this because, I like my sports as well. So we've got Earl Reese, who does a show about sports called Sports Shop. So we're going to be talking a little bit about sports on that show as well. So Earl has already agreed that he's going to appear on the show and talk about sports because, we're glad here in Durham, and this is just a sports announcement, because there is at least one team in the World Series now, that being the Tampa Bay Rays and everything, and that is the home. Well, we are they are our parent company because, like I said, the Durham Bulls is the team that a lot of folks know from around the world because of that famous movie, and the Tampa Bay Rays are their home franchise. So they'll be in the World Series, and we're glad to know that.
Okay, all right. So we're in the World Series. But more importantly, what we've got coming up on tonight with American politics is we're all engaging in shameless self-promotion, which I actually have no problem with. I know when we're going to talk because you've got your show bright and early tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., followed by Economic Mondays, headed by Nick, our illustrious leader, who is not with us today because he refused to work on weekends while he drives us with the wages that he's not paying us. This evening, though, we have American Politics coming on at 7 o'clock. Tonight's a really interesting show. The title is Trezzavant v. Trezzavant, and the guest is obviously a Trezzavant, so that should be interesting. Kim, I'm throwing it to you.
Got it. Okay, folks. I promote all of our shows as winners. Talking Upstream this afternoon, I highly recommend it because it engages the mind and shows you how to whiteboard things. Alexandra May's Musical Cafe brings in all kinds of great ways to become a better entrepreneur. But Wynn beats us all when it comes to, meeting goals. When she said she was going to get 60,000 downloads, the girl got it. Her goal now is 400 a day, and she's kicking it. I enjoy being on the show with her because it is about many things I find important in life. And it says, no matter what your challenges are, you can change your stars and become successful. Then again, Economics Monday has changed my world because it is conversations from all over the world about the economics. We could not be doing this without Ankit. And his dream was having a good medical show. That was his dream when we first met. He wanted good medical advice from all over the world. And guess what? We got it. And we got it from day one when we started our shows. He started bringing in doctors from all over the world of all expertise. And that show is going to, it could become a channel. Then we've got, talk shows, celebrity talk shows, where Hollywood meets Bollywood. We're inspiring people to, again, change an industry that's falling right now. Let's get more involved. But that's what IBM TV is about. Mm-hmm. IBM TV is about making the changes that we need to bring us quality of life worldwide, not just for the U.S. You may hear us talk a lot about the U.S., but what I'm most proud of is we've got producers from all over the world.
Yes.
Okay. Not just from the U.S. And we're like a family. We support each other. And it's been a complete honor. It really has. It has been an honor to watch this grow and become everything that more than what I could have dreamed of, more than what Nick could have dreamed of, because our mission started out as closing that gap between poverty and sustainability. And not by lowering the bar, but by raising the bars. And that mission has grown to become more than what we could have even dreamed. And it's because of all of these people. You know, Mark does these shows, and I wonder, where does he get these people from? He's had and I laughed so hard at one of his shows last week, I couldn't breathe. I mean, and laughing is how we're going to get out of this too, people. We got to quit feeling sorry for ourselves and crying. And that's one of the things I love about all of these. And then you have Sasha, right, who teaches us fun investing skills, but also he brings in this great chess game that makes you think a different way. He invented a game where you get to guess what the player's next move is, and you can make money doing it. So,
and then
it's fun. We're fun.
And also, Kimberly, you might want to mention Gamers Den, or Mark, you want to mention Gamers?
Oh, wait, Gamers Den.
Yeah.
I am actually now playing games again, which I quit playing years ago. I'm an engineer, but I'm actually playing Among Us. That's a lot of fun. But I'm going to tell you my new favorite show to watch, and I'm disappointed when it's not on every night, is Lawyer's Den.
Yeah.
I love Mark's show. He just kills me, and I got to meet my one of my legends that I've always wanted to meet because of him. But Lawyer's Den opens your mind to a lot of things, and you watch all of these lawyers who just talk about, and they don't fight, but they all talk about all of these different issues and how we need to be approaching them. And you're getting these different inputs, and I think they're even learning. So it's fun to watch these panels, and just like we watch the doctors, right? We watch all of these doctors from all over the world. Even an infectious disease doctor for international travel is world famous. I mean, and Dr. Tula, I found is world famous.
Yeah.
People from all over the world going, how do you know Dr. Tula? And I'm like, well, how do you know? He's in a different part of the world than you. And my whole family knows him. So, and we've got Pulitzer Prize authors who teach law. And I've got lawyers who ask me, how do you know David K. Johnson? He's my hero. And I'm like, so these are the kind of quality conversations we have. And so IBM TV isn't, to me, I hope, inspiring other people. But what I will say is it inspires me every day. And I just want, I want to I'm thankful to all of you who are a part of this. And Ankit, I'm going to pass it to you.
Okay. Ankit, you got to catch the ball.
So I think, as Bill and Kim said, we are working on a lot of shows. We started with one show on 7th of March, and now we have 62 shows, and we have like 50 different shows on the cam basically. So hopefully we will start all those shows, and we have 100 plus shows by the end of this year. But I think the latest show which we have started is Himera Wood. So as Win with Win, and one more show I forgot the name of the show because we are forgot the name. But we have started 3 shows in the same weekend. All shows are doing good. In fact, we have we have so great family, and we found a lot of good people around the world. In fact, Sharon is the 3rd person from Netherlands. We had 2 more earlier on IBM TV. So that was thing. In fact, Kim, if you remember, Sabyasachi, he was there. He launched his book. The book name is Backup Plan B. He already launched it.
I remember that. No. I remember that. So we need to do a book interview with him.
So he'll be joining us soon. But apart from that, we are doing a lot of shows on Tuesday. We do Travel Tuesday. We do Celeb Tuesday. On Tuesday, we also work on one more show, which is about Hollywood and Bollywood. And we have a Hollywood producer, director also a part of that show. On Wednesday, we do Startup Wednesday. And we are trying to bridge a lot of people around the world. In fact, Sharon can help us out in that show because we are looking for good startups around the world. And if we can empower them, if we can give them some kind of platform, that would be great. In fact, Sharon, we are also working with a company based out of Switzerland, and we are trying to air a summit which is known as Impact Investment, and they're looking for good business and startups. And that summit is open on 26th and 27th October. So if you have someone to recommend, we can do that because we bridge a lot of, and we share a lot of knowledge around the world as well, and that's what we do. And our motto is global citizenship, and that's what we are working towards on IBM TV. So apart from all these shows, on Thursday we do podcast on Thursday, and Thursday we are also working on a book show, which is hopefully be here soon. We have a Gamers Den on Thursday, the same day. On Friday we have Medical Friday, and we give that to all the doctors and medical staff around the world. In fact, we started with 7 days of medical shows, but eventually we gave a theme to every day, and that's what we do on Fridays. And then Fridays post we have Financial Friday, which is again a great show, how to smartly save your money, because that's very important. If you want money, you should know how to save money as well, and that's what our professional treaters. And then on Saturday, it's all about Spiritual Saturday, and that means we have a lot of spiritual talks around the world. We have a lot of licensed and certified coach joining us on IBM TV and discussing about their journeys and what are the life stories and what kind of precautions or what kind of things they need to follow during the COVID as well. So that is on Spiritual Saturday. And on Spiritual Saturday, we have Funk from the Front Seat from our own Zack Robertson. He talks about music from different people around the world, and especially Funketeers. And then we have Chess Stars with Sasha Star. We have again one more show which is known as Plant a Good Seed. That is also a kind of a life show based on life journeys and what kind of experiences people had on the life. So Saturday is also full of amazing shows, and then Sunday we are already doing Super Sunday, and we do a lot of shows from South Africa. We do shows with teens, and then we do musical shows, and then followed by Lloyd's Den and Talking Up Scene. But this is our open Super Sunday roundtable, and this just so happened automatically. We never planned for it, but it just started an open show, and then we started inviting people, and then we started discussion without any script. We don't have any script, but it's just about the real time values, because a lot of time we have people from different continents and they share their own experiences. So that's what we do.
From Dr. Anthony. She started on our shows, and Dr. Anthony sent this to me, and it's her book. It's a book she wrote. So we've got beautiful friends and family and guests, and some of them are starting their own shows real soon. I know she is. So she just got, I think, settled in back in DC. So she's had to get back from Louisiana to DC. So, but again,
to deal with all that weather stuff that was going on in Louisiana, there's no doubt about that they were dealing with a lot of hardships in Louisiana, but she dealt with it. And like Kim said, she's back. I think that she sent that same book and that same package to Zack, and I understand that mine is on its way. So I'm hoping to get that sometime in the very near future. That'll include the book as well as some of that Cajun food and Cajun spices and things of that nature. So I'm looking forward to that. I was going to tell Ankit, but he seems like he's bounced off along with the wind. But speaking of this same topic of women empowerment on the Gamers Den, we're going to have, I think, actually Kim has been on a couple of times, but we haven't had that many women on. But we're going to have a woman leader in the game industry. My friend Jatovi, who is actually the host of that show, and I help him with that and everything. But he has recruited Heather Chandler, who is a major game creator and things of that nature. So Heather Chandler will be appearing on that show, and that'll be on this Thursday. So she's already lined up to be a guest, keeping in this whole spirit of women empowerment and things along that line. And I know that yesterday, like I said, our guest was involved in the music scene. He's actually played with a lot of major artists in that whole funk music community, but he is now involved in the whole fight against domestic violence and things of that nature on the West Coast. And I know that he has reached out to the IBM.TV family and seen about them having a show here as well. So I'm also, as a person involved with the station and also involved with Bill, I would love to see Sherry Ann bring her show to us as well. I know she's doing it on Facebook Live, but as one that is representative of what that goes on here, I would love to see you talk to Kim and to some of the other folks, myself and Bill included, about bringing your platform to us, because I know I'm a big fan of conversations that talk about real world issues and real world politics and real world concerns. So as a person that is involved in somewhat of the leadership here, I just want to extend that invitation. I think that I can say that, and Bill is smiling at me, so I think he's all right with me doing this and everything. So I just wanted to say that to you, that if you are open to that conversation, we would love to have you be part of the family as well, and definitely just wanted to share that. And then I know we're getting to wrap everything up. I know Bill's probably got to get ready to go watch some football. I need to do the same thing and things of that nature. But that being said, one of the things that I was going to say that I think is very important, and I would love to hear everybody just kind of like close out with this, is that yes, early voting started. I'm going to admit that I was a little late. So I didn't make it this past couple of days, but I do plan to be there either Monday or Tuesday because I want to be there with early voting. So if the three of us that are left could talk about the importance of voting and things of that nature. Bill, you're a political person, so I'm going to defer to Sherry Ann first. I know you're overseas, but you got friends probably over here, so you probably can address them and tell how important voting is, even to those that are expatriates that live overseas.
Absolutely. And like I said, I am not really into politics. I don't follow every detail, but I follow the highlights. One of the things I can say as an advocate and an activist for women empowerment is that women have fought a huge battle, a very severe, nasty battle, and won. And to honor the women who have gone before us and who have laid down their lives for us, we should vote. Vote, vote, vote. A voice is powerful and a vote is a voice. So please vote. Do not waste your vote. Do not waste your voice, and do not leave all the work that women have done for us to give us a better life, to give us rights. And also the women of color. I mean, the whole Black community, the people of color didn't have rights either. And all those women and all those people who have gone before us to, pave that way into giving us rights and freedom. Please honor them. Don't let their fight be in vain. Vote, vote, vote. It is powerful. It brings changes. And when you use your voice to vote, you add, a brick to building and constructing a better world. So please.
No, I agree with you on that, and I appreciate your thoughts and everything. I'm going to keep mine real short, which is actually going to surprise Bill and everything. But I'm just going to say, in the words of John Lewis, go out and vote and cause some good trouble. And that's all I'm going to say. Go out there and cause some good trouble, and I'm going to turn it over to Bill.
That was a bit unfair. You're setting me up. I mean, how am I supposed to, follow that? I'm simply going to say thank you. Thank you, Sherry Ann Wilson, for your time today. Thank you, Mark Lee, for your velvety voice and your ever-present, effervescent insight on the items of the day, as well as your spontaneity. I, for one, offer nothing other than a broad smile and well wishes. So with that, Mark, I will let you close your show, but I appreciate the invite for being on Producers Sunday. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you for having me, gentlemen. It was a pleasure.
Definitely glad to have both of you on and everything. And yes, we're going to close it out with something that we usually close out with, which is, of course, the ambassador. And the ambassador oftentimes will show what we should be doing in these times and everything. So I'm going to bring the ambassador up, and she will give us an idea of things that we should be doing during this time. So definitely this is what we should be doing in the COVID era. So definitely watch the ambassador, which is actually Ankit's daughter. So see what she's got to say about washing our hands and a number of other things.
Okay.
Coronavirus से कैसे बचेंगे? हैंड धोकर और ऐसे अपने खांसी जब आएगी तो ऐसे करेंगे अच्छू अच्छू और कोरोना वायरस को धन्यवाद हमारा म्यूजिक सुनने का.
Okay.
And last but not least, we're going to get out of here with that airplane that gets us out of here every time, and that'll wrap up the show. But it was definitely great having these great insights. Definitely enjoyed hearing funk music with Zack. And like I said, I'll be back tomorrow with the two shows that I do on Monday, which, of course, is Radio Show with Mark Lee, as well as Mullins Music and Memory. So looking forward to seeing y'all on Monday as well. But right now, let's get this airplane on out of here so folks can get to the rest of their Sunday afternoons.
All right.